Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and gays.
From gutters to gay bars and everywhere in between.
Here to finish off your Tuesday, it's your three besties, two brunettes and a gay. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the show, Two Brunettes and a Gay. You are here with Celeste.
And Aaron.
And we do have Deanna expected to join us very, very shortly. She is taking a moment. If you're just fresh to listening to us, you might not know, but there has been quite a big week for Two Brunettes and a Gay this week. If you are listening for that exact reason, we do plan to get into everything very, very soon. We do have our co-host, our much-loved Deanna, who has been at the centre of everything that's been going on, joining us very, very shortly. But she is taking a moment. This last few days has been very intense for her.
Tumultuous.
Exactly.
To say the least.
To say the very least. There's been a lot going on. So she's taking a moment to take a breather, because you have to imagine that with everything that's been going on and for something that you've been wrongly accused of, the emotions do get to you quite a bit. So we will have Deanna joining us very shortly. We do have plenty coming up in this show, Aaron, don't we?
A big show indeed, we do.
What are we expecting?
We've got a lot of ground to cover for this show. This show is going to be very different to any other show that we've done. This show is going to be focused purely on the, incidents that have happened over the past 7 days. But also focused on some really serious topics and some really important topics, cyberbullying, for example, which is something we haven't touched on before, but a really important one that I think we need to get to the bottom of.
Exactly. And for those of you that are familiar with Two Brunettes and a Gay, this is a very different style show for us. If you're not familiar with Two Brunettes and a Gay, you wouldn't know that generally we are all about comedy and entertainment and having a laugh. And this show is very different for us. But the reason that we're doing it is because it needs to be done and it needs to be addressed. There's been a lot of this going on this week, and having experienced it firsthand, Deanna especially, we realise the importance of addressing a topic like bullying and online bullying first and foremost. And not only that, we're also going to have Noi Rocker, who is the man behind the social media account, The Social Joker, who was the one who initially posted the video that started it all. We have been in communication with Noi. He is joining us later on the show to talk about all of the truth behind the video, how it came to be in his possession, where it was filmed, everything that you want answered, as well as how Deanna became to be involved. There is so much ground to cover here, so we thank you so much for joining us. If you're new, if you're not new and you're listening, like always, we're so glad to have you back. Stay with us and we will be back after the break. Welcome back to the show, Two Brunettes and a Gay. If you're joining us live, thank you so much for being here live. If you are joining us listening later on the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in what has been an incredibly difficult week for Two Brunettes and a Gay. But specifically Deanna, and we said before the break that she was taking a moment, and we have her here now. And so we have lots to get to, but first and foremost, I'd like to begin by just saying, Deanna, welcome, and thank you so much for being here on what has been an incredibly difficult week for you. The fact that you are joining us says a lot about your character, because this has been a tough one for you, and we have watched a lot of things happen to you this week. How are you? Are you okay?
Look, I have my moments, for sure. I didn't plan on crying. I can pull it together, and I will pull it together. But, you know, sometimes I guess the first day, second day, third day was okay. When it started to get to the fourth day and now the fifth day, and it seems that I guess the problem keeps exacerbating itself because people keep resharing, and so then there's more and more negative comments. Not that I take any of them personally, because I have an awareness that this isn't about me, but it's just out of my control. I can't stop it from happening because I'm not the one posting the original video to begin with. So it's an interesting process having to learn to surrender control to something like this.
And I guess it's the most important thing is, I guess, for those people that are listening in or tuning in via our live stream, if you haven't seen what's been happening, I guess we'll start from the very beginning.
Yes.
To give a bit of background as to how this all got out of control and just so horrible. So if you aren't aware, if you haven't seen the videos or the posts, last Thursday we woke up to our Two Brunettes and a Gay page being trolled by a fair few comments.
Yes, and it was interesting because it wasn't actually even my page to start off with. It was the Two Brunettes and a Gay page, and who found it? One of you two.
It was Aaron that found it.
It was me that found it. And at the beginning, I thought it was just bots. I thought it was just random bots commenting.
Well, we didn't know what they were talking about because we were getting comments about trash on a beach.
Trash on a beach. Cleaning up trash on a beach, which made no sense to any of us.
We actually, we spent the first 24 hours of the whole ordeal thinking that it was just like bots that were targeting us. And we, to be truthfully honest, we were having a good laugh about it because we were like, oh my God, where is this coming from? We were getting emojis of bins put on a lot of our videos, and we were like, oh God, this is a laugh. Wow, okay.
And I thought, well, they're summarising me well because I am trash. But, you know... But ultimately, so the problem was we saw the comments keep piling up, didn't we?
Yeah, and also, though, you guys were like, okay, so we've got these comments on the Two Brunettes page, and I hadn't jumped on Instagram that day yet. Yeah. And then when I did, I was like, oh, the comments are on my posts as well, and I've gained a bunch of followers. And I was like, did you check your personal accounts? And you guys are going, no, we don't have anyone in our personal accounts. And I'm like, okay, why are they coming over to me then? Again, no idea why. They just kept coming.
It was bizarre. And then they kept coming to you. They kept coming to the Two Brunettes and a Gay, Instagram, Facebook, everything. And then overnight it just
that Thursday it started to build up. But I was at a wedding that Thursday, and so I wasn't really on my phone. I posted a reel of myself in a blue dress, which I'm sure thousands of people have. Well, I know thousands of people. The reel's got like 50,000 plus views at the moment. Have seen, and because on my stories earlier that day as well, I had posted myself hiking at the beach, and I remember screenshotting it to you guys and going, my stories have thousands of views all of a sudden. Like I don't have even that many followers. Like I wonder, and I thought, well, maybe because I'm in a holiday destination like Port Douglas, which I was, I thought, oh, maybe lots of people watched the Port Douglas tag because I had tagged Port Douglas in the stories. Little did I realise that I didn't check that a lot of the messages from those stories were going to my like private inbox, where people were starting to say like, are you the trash girl? Are you going to clean up your mess? Are you going to show some receipts? Where are you? I want to kill you. Things of that nature. And I hadn't seen them at this point. I went to the wedding. I, kind of put my phone away. I only posted like one or two things from the wedding. And then I just thought I'm going to be present with my friends. Yeah. I wasn't too worried about the comments. We genuinely, as it ramped up, thought that it was some sort of a internet bot or scam or something trying to shut our accounts down.
Yeah, AI or something like that.
Yeah. And then I guess the next morning...
Well, the next morning, I think, again, it was you or I, Aaron, that had noticed how many comments had started to accumulate on Deanna's post from the day before when she was getting ready for the wedding. And we kind of alerted you to it, let you know that, have you actually seen this? Because this is getting quite specific. And that was, I think, the moment where we realised that perhaps there was a little more to it because people were getting quite specific with what she was wearing, where she was. Yep. And it kind of started to make sense that this wasn't like an auto-generated or an AI, bot situation like we initially thought it was. This was people specifically targeting Deanna.
Yeah, and I had slept in because I had been out late at a wedding the night before. And so it was you guys that alerted me to this. And you're like, look, we've checked some of the accounts. They don't seem like bots. And I was like, well, I don't know what else it would be. And so that's when we made the decision to shut down my account, because I thought, if something's targeting my account and it's Instagram is going to shut me down, and obviously I use my account for business and for this show, I better shut it down myself first until this all blows over, and I was just going to reactivate it the next day.
Well, we said we're going to ask all of the questions that I think everyone wants answered, and that's a big one that you've been getting asked a lot in your comments is, why did you deactivate your account if you had nothing to hide? So why did you deactivate your account? This is a perfect opportunity for you to explain that to everyone that wants to know.
Well, it's exactly what I just said. I didn't know why people were, like, the comments were mounting and mounting on my post. I had absolutely no idea, and I thought that it was some sort of internet spam. In fact, my partner Brenton and I started Googling, like, is there something going around, like, trash on the beach? And we were Googling trash on the beach comments on Instagram to see if there was some sort of an AI or something like that was, I guess, spamming Instagram accounts, and we couldn't find it.
And that's when we were tagged on our Two Brunettes and a Gay Instagram in the actual video itself.
For the first time.
So it was well over 24 hours from when we got the first comment that we actually saw the video and actually were able to bring things together as to exactly what this was all about and what was happening.
And that's when, Aaron, you were like, I found it. Like, this is like, this is what they think it's you. Look at the comments. Everybody on TikTok is tagging your name on Instagram. Like, they're tagging your profile. Yeah. And at that point, there was already a bunch of comments, and every next person, it seemed, decided to jump on the bandwagon. And so we had an emergency meeting where we sat there and went, I just leaned on you guys for support and said, what do I do in this situation?
And that's not an easy thing to decide.
No. And collectively in that situation, like, I had to take a deep breath and, I guess, look at myself and go, okay, this isn't about me. It's still not really about me. This is just a situation that I am in right now, where people are angry about something, and instead of having a healthy outlet for their anger, everybody's directing it at me, number one. I have compassion for the fact that they want justice for these actions. I can't give it to them because I have nothing. That video was taken in a different country. It had nothing to do with me. Again, we didn't know that at this time, but a lot of the Australians that were jumping on the comments were saying, this doesn't look like an Australian beach.
That was a consistent comment.
Yeah.
A big consistent comment.
Our beaches, our councils clean up our beaches. Thank you, Australia. And so, it was one of those things where I just had to go, what's the bigger issue here? And I just really sat there and felt really sad. And I think that's why I had my little bit of a meltdown moment before as well, is because I'm sad that this is how we treat each other, and it's almost like you're guilty until proven innocent instead of the other way around. And so it does leave you feeling a little bit helpless at times.
Well, we've got plenty more that we want to talk to you about, Deanna. Lots of questions that I guess people want answered, as well as our interview with Noi, the social joker who posted the initial video, coming to you very soon. So stay with us and we will be back after the break.
Welcome back to Two Brunettes and a Gay. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is a very different show this week for us. And if you know us, this is a very
pared back, quiet, serious
and introspective kind of Two Brunettes and a Gay. I didn't mean to giggle there.
You didn't do a very good.
A very feminine giggle if that was you.
But ultimately, just to recap, if you've just tuned in, just before the break, we were talking about the beginning of the situation that happened over the last week. that we've been dealing with. We started noticing some trolls pop up on the Two Brunettes and a Gay Instagram and socials.
Lots of trash bucket emojis.
Lots of garbage popping up in our socials. And we noticed eventually that they then started going towards Deanna and Deanna's business, in her personal messages. And what we eventually found on the Friday was that there was a viral video going around, and we haven't actually said what the video is yet, but the viral video is of an Instagram influencer, or an influencer in general, on a beach, pretending to clean up trash, getting some photos taken of that, and then leaving the trash on the beach and skipping away. And
just to clarify, she's been called an influencer. We are not calling her an influencer.
No.
Like, we do not believe that is influencer behaviour at all.
No,
like, we do not
not
condone, support, agree with any of the actions in that video, but she has been named an influencer, so that is why we are referring to her as that.
And also, influencer is the word that's being used, thrown around in a lot of like the news articles and things, referring to me as well. And so people are saying that I'm referring to myself as an influencer. And as I said already in my live stream, I didn't even have 1,000 followers before this, so I seldom, like, I wouldn't call myself an influencer anyway. And then, a lot of people think that this is a publicity stunt, but if you look back at my content, it's nothing like this in it whatsoever. Just
no, not at all.
We have it's off-brand for us. It's completely off-brand.
It's not in your character, not in your nature. And you touched on an interesting point just before. After we found out the video went viral and that we'd been tagged in all these troll comments, we actually then the next day noticed that it became a huge news headline.
Yes. Well, we talked about how you had deactivated your account, made the decision, and it was deactivated for all of an hour or two.
It was probably 2.5 hours, I think, at most.
Until we had all kind of met, like we said, and discussed the best way to proceed forward with this, because obviously we had no idea how big this could get or how big it was going to get. Mm-hmm. And then you came back and you posted a video, and I guess that was the video that kind of snowballed the media behind it as well, where you actually came out and said, this is not me.
Mm-hmm. No. I 100% came out and I was very grounded about it, I guess, at that point, because I just went, okay, I'm just going to put a video out to clarify that this isn't me. The girl in the video has longer hair than I do. Mm-hmm. She's visibly younger than I am. Like I said, I'm flattered. But it's not me. She also has much larger bosom than I do. I wish I did, but I don't. And visible abs, which I currently do not have either. So, I mean, very flattering, and I had so many comments already at that point from people who had come over to my page and said, clearly you can see this is not you. This girl is a lot more kind of shapely or curvaceous than what you are. And she's got a great figure. But like they just were kind of looking at the mismatches. I had so many comments saying her hair is 2 inches longer than yours. Her hair is 3 inches longer than yours. But then they were met with replies of she cut her hair to cover it up. And I was like, if you just scroll back like a month or two on my Instagram, my hair was shorter and brown. So I don't know how that was possible that I grew it super long, dyed it blonde, and then cut it back up
so quickly.
The logic is just, it's astounding.
But you kind of, I guess you kind of thought, and we thought, because Aaron and I made our own little videos, I guess, professing your innocence, if you want to call it that. We kind of thought that you would, put this video out, say, look, not me, don't condone this behaviour, absolutely, definitely not me, not sure who it is, whatever the case is. And it would all kind of settle down, simmer down. People would go, oh, wrong girl.
Let's move
that
on.
Be done.
Yeah. And also, I was really conscientious, though, because people were going, okay, who is it then? Somehow I don't know how it was implicated. That was my responsibility to find out who it was. But even if I did know, I would never want anybody to be subjected to what I have been subjected to. And so that's not how I would deal with it, by going, here's the girl, misdirect the energy, because that's just a really immature thing to do.
Absolutely.
If I found out who it was, I'd be contacting them personally and dealing with it that way.
And so from that initial video, you got, I guess, like a mix of support and a mix of hate.
Yes.
But that was the video that was picked up by news.com.
It was.
I think early Saturday, if I remember correctly. And then you had decided, and in the news.com article, for those that did take the time to read it, they did say that Deanna was wrongfully accused, and it was highlighting the fact that she had made a video saying that it wasn't her, and that they didn't know where the video was taken from my memory. And we thought, okay, great. Like, now this is a news article. So you posted a screenshot of that to your page, which then led people to believe that you were gloating about the fact that you were an influencer that had been caught on a beach leaving trash bags.
They just didn't open the comment, like the caption, to see what I had said. They didn't click on the article. I can't imagine in my life, firstly, I wouldn't write a troll comment anyway, because it's just not in my nature to deal with things this way. I don't know, maybe people in their 30s, like maybe we're a different generation, or in saying that, look, there was a lot of mums on the post, which we'll talk about that later as well. I was brought up in a generation where that's not okay. So I wouldn't write it anyway, but I certainly wouldn't be writing something like that if I didn't actually take the time to check for myself, because for some reason it's like, as a society, we've lost context for the fact that someone has to create the social media account on the other side, and it's a real person. I mean, I know there's a lot of fake accounts out there, but there's still someone behind the fake account.
Look, majority of the time when someone's writing hate, it's directed to a real account. It's not directed to a fake account. And there's a disconnect with the fact that there is a real person on the end of that, and regardless of whatever you feel like they need to be held responsible to, there is a real person with real emotions and real feelings and a real mental health struggle. And in this case, that person was innocent, and that person actually didn't do what they were being accused of, and they were still receiving that level of backlash and hate. Like, they needed to be taught a lesson for something that they didn't do. So the question that I wanted to ask you is, really, once it kind of ramped up to that level, how did you actually take it? Because you had said that if this had happened to someone 10 or 15, 20 years younger than you, you can't imagine how they would have taken it. So how has it actually impacted your life over the last 5 days?
Look, I was pretty good for the first 3 to 4 days, and in terms of the fact that I had a grasp on zooming out from the bigger picture and just understanding that this just happened to be a situation that I got caught up in, and that it's not about me. Like, I don't take it personally, so to speak. But I guess when you also have a career and like a business to protect at the same time, and every time you open up your phone, because you're trying to do the right thing. This is what's really difficult about this, and nobody knows what the right thing in this situation to do is, because I'm trying to be really polite to people, even if they're being rude to me, because, again, misdirected anger. Like, I get that people are upset about the situation that happened. I was an animal rights activist for 4 years. You know, I ran in a state and a federal election here for the Animal Justice Party in Australia. I spent weekends and weekends on the street because I was a chapter coordinator for Anonymous for the Voiceless. I know what it's like to be passionate about something, and I know what it's like to be mad about something. I have so many friends that are a big part of Sea Shepherd, you know, so I understand, like, beach cleanups and things. I never did them personally. I did street activism. You know, but I get what it's like to be really fired up about something, and so I knew that people were upset. But what I didn't understand was in my first video when I said, let's turn this into something good. Like, let's go to the beach, let's, you know, go to your local area and actually take action. People have chosen to troll rather than go, you know what, I'm really mad about this beach issue. I should do something about it. It's more like, I just want to tear this woman down and bring her to justice. And I'm sitting there going, what exactly is justice? What do you want from me? Not that it was me, but what do you want from her? Like, what is it that we're trying to get to here? And so after, you know, 5 going on 6 days now, it's gotten a little bit to a point where I'm like, I'm continuing to try and maintain my composure, obviously, and have compassion in this situation and not make this about me. Like, and that's a big thing that we don't want this whole show to be about. It's not about me, poor Deanna, blah, blah. Like, I don't want poor Deanna going on. I don't need that. What I need is this is a reality for the younger generation right now. Celeste and I have worked with the younger generation for a long time as vocal coaches. It's what we've done. We used to work with children. We frequently work with teenagers, and we work with young adults at the same time as well. And I kind of thought I had some sort of a grasp on the context of what this was about for them with their social anxiety and being too afraid to make a decision and being too afraid to wear what they want to wear or do what they want to do because their fear of ridicule. And I would be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about people saying on social media. Just do you. But now I have such a different context for that. And I'm going, this issue is bigger than I ever realised it was. And as a society, I feel responsible. As part of society, I feel responsible for the fact that these kids can't go to bed at night like I used to, and know that when I woke up in the morning, there wasn't going to be thousands of people telling me that they hate me. That's a reality for our younger generations right now.
Absolutely. And I think that it's also worth noting just how lucky we are and you are that we actually have this platform to talk about this. Because for many people in this position, they don't have a platform in which they can kind of reach a number of people all at once. They go into hiding. They are afraid to do anything anymore. Their mental health is so negatively impacted by something like this that it can change their life. And we are lucky enough to have a platform where we can actually talk about it and talk about what needs to change, and give you the opportunity to actually talk about how, what happened to you and how this wasn't you and get to the bottom of this. Some people don't have that opportunity.
No.
And they're just branded with that.
Support networks. I have good people around me, lots of them in lots of different areas. I am lucky, but there are lots of people who I'm sure have been in situations much worse than mine in this position and not had anybody to turn to as well.
All right, Deanna, well, thank you so much for sharing. After the break, we do have Noi Rocker, who is also known as the social joker on social media, the man responsible behind the account that initially posted this video on TikTok, and he's going to be joining us to talk about the video, how it came to be in his possession, where it was taken, and his whole story behind this situation. So please stay tuned and join us after the break for plenty more. Welcome back to Brunettes A Gay. You've got Celeste, Deanna and Aaron here joining you right in the middle of a big discussion that we've been having over the course of what has happened to Deanna specifically and to Brunettes A Gay, I guess, over the last 5 days. We are now joined on the phone by Noi Rocker. Noi is known as the social joker on TikTok and is the man responsible for posting the video that started it all. Now, to clarify, Noi is not the man that took the video. His account just posted the video. We would like to welcome him onto the show right now. Noi, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We are not too bad. It's been quite a 5 days, and I'm sure it's been quite a journey for you over the last 5 days. First, I mean, obviously, we want to ask you plenty of questions surrounding all this, but how are you handling the last 5 days? I'm sure it's been quite a journey for you as well.
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride, to be fair. I think more so for me, because I haven't been really personally attacked myself too much. It's more so when it first started, I was just enjoying watching the chaos unfold, but then things started to escalate, and then I kind of had to step in. But it's been pretty full on, to be fair. I can't even believe it's blown up to this degree.
It certainly has blown up, that's for sure. So, like we said at the beginning, you are not the person who took this footage, but you do know who did take the footage. So can you share with our listeners who is responsible for taking the video, where it was taken, when it was taken, and I guess the story behind it?
My friend Victor and his girlfriend Alicia actually took the video. That they live in Bali. I think they were in Canggu in Bali and I think they were on the rooftop of some bar, I think, and they could see it from where they were, where they were sitting just on the beach, and they decided to start filming and posted it to his Instagram story. I think I woke up on Wednesday morning when I first saw the video, saw it and thought it would be a good video to put on TikTok, and decided to share it on my little TikTok page there, and then went to work that day, shared it in the morning, put the voiceover on, and went to work, and then at the end of the day, checked my phone and checked my TikTok, and it was close to 1 million views in less than 24 hours, actually. And I couldn't believe how much it had grown by at that point as well. Didn't even expect it to get to the point it has now.
And how did you come to find out about Deanna's involvement, I guess, in the accusation behind this video? Tell us a little bit about how that was brought to your attention.
Yeah, so essentially when it first started blowing up, and it was obviously everyone was outraged and was pretty upset, which is completely fair enough. And then, first of all, before Deanna got tagged, there was actually a few other people who got tagged, but they didn't have like their any links to their private Instagram pages or anything like that. And people were just getting attacked who were just getting tagged by their friends in the comments just to look at this, have a look at the video. And the first person who was initially accused was actually a young child, and luckily they didn't have any access to any links to their private social media or any other way to message them. And so people were attacking them in the comments, and she ended up replying. She's like, "Guys, stop! I'm just a child. Can you stop attacking me?" And then that's when I was like, "Okay, things are getting a bit out of hand here." And then I saw Deanna getting tagged, and I thought I'd go over to her Instagram and have a look myself. And instantly, the moment I was on her profile, I just immediately knew that it wasn't her. And I just assumed that everyone else would come to that same conclusion, and kind of thought nothing of it at the time. And then over the next day or so, I just kept seeing her name getting tagged more and more, and just went to go back over her page again to see if there was any comments being said. And then at that point, you had deactivated it, I think. And that's when I realised that, oh God, things must have gotten pretty bad. That's when I decided that I had to step in and say something to everyone to tell them to stop actually tagging you, because it clearly wasn't actually you, and there was no real proof at all from my point of view that, and it just didn't make sense. So I just had to post my video, and at the end of the day, I knew it was going to fall on deaf ears, but I felt like I had to say my part because I was partly responsible for it all. When you reactivated your profile, at that point, for the first part of it, I was kind of just sitting back and enjoying, watching all the chaos unfold, because it was just pretty entertaining to see everyone losing their minds over it. But then it got to a point where people were starting to send death threats to everyone, to whoever was involved and towards you. And then that's where I drew the line. I'm like, harassment and bullying and abuse like that just is a bit too much. So I just had to make another response saying my piece. I just kind of had to let it all unfold. I kind of stopped reading comments and replying to any of them for a bit there, because I just didn't see the point. With the internet trolls online, most of them just want to post stuff just to get a reaction now. And the more you feed them and the more you react to them, the more they're going to poke and prod and stir the pot, essentially. Basically, at this point, if anyone who's still commenting on your post now, pretty much are just doing it just to stir the pot. I didn't know there was a news article posted until late Saturday afternoon, and that's when I kind of was also really shocked at how it's made mainstream media as well. So I think for me personally, all I did was just share my friend's video to my TikTok page, and now it's started a worldwide witch hunt, and the wrong people have been accused, and it's just completely blown out of proportion, really.
I guess the big question, though, is have you entertained the idea of taking the video down at all?
Well, I thought about that, but here's the thing. So what initially happened with the original post was that it got banned in some countries. And people, once it got banned in some countries, in the first day, within the first day or two, in the USA, people can't see it, and maybe a few others, but people started actually jumping onto my other videos and commenting on that, saying, "Why did you delete the video? That's suspicious. You're all a part of it. It was all staged, you know," and were kind of like putting me in lieu with the people in the video, saying that it was all set up to gain views and popularity. And so I kind of was like, well, no point taking the video down now because it will probably just cause I don't know. They didn't make sense to me to do that. But that's why I posted my videos in response to them anyway, instead of taking it down,
Hi, Noi. It's Deanna. I've been here the whole time. I've just I needed a moment to compose myself, so Celeste and Aaron have taken handle of the interview as well. But yeah, I just wanted to comment and say it seems like an endless spiral. It doesn't matter, and I've noticed this as well, and I guess that's confirming what you're saying as well. It doesn't matter if you do this. Everyone says you're doing that. And so then you do that, and then they say you're doing this. And then you do this, and then they say you're doing that. And so you really can't win in this situation. I don't know if you've had that experience as well, but that's kind of my thoughts towards it. Just online trolls in general, they'll find a way to twist it and turn it against you no matter what, just because it's purely for their entertainment. And they probably know that you're not the person in the video at this point, but they just want to poke and prod and stir the pot and watch you get a reaction. Get a reaction out of you just because they find it, entertaining to them, which is they're the type of people that you just kind of have to ignore and just don't give them the reaction that they are seeking at the end of the day with those ones, because they just want to watch the world burn kind of thing,
Noi, thank you so much for joining us. We understand that putting the call out to you to see if you wanted to come onto the show is a big ask, because obviously you're choosing to put yourself in a situation as well where you're caught up in a media storm just like Deanna is, really. And so we really would like to thank you for not only coming out on tonight's show to speak the truth and spread the word like you have about where the video came from and how it came to be in your possession and where it was filmed, answering all those questions, but also coming out in support of Deanna, I guess when you didn't have to, when you didn't really have to say anything, you could have just let the video blow up and kept quiet. But we do really thank you and appreciate that, and I know Deanna does too. I definitely, Noi did, and for everybody listening, actually reach out to me, personally, and started messaging me, which I didn't see right away, and saying, I'm so sorry, there's people commenting on my video, they think that it's you, and so he did try and warn me of it. I just didn't see what had actually conspired at that point in time as well. And actually, just because you're here, Noi, and I know that if we don't cover this, we're going to get that in the comments for this as well. Can you clarify that? Obviously, you said the video was filmed by your friends in Canggu in Bali. Can you clarify when that was filmed as well, just to make sure that everybody heard that it wasn't me?
Yeah. So it was filmed on the 4th of July, I think, around about 1:15 in the afternoon. So.
Thank you so much for that. 1:15 in the afternoon. I was in Adelaide here. I was at work.
And it was a Tuesday. Two Brunettes
and
A Gay.
And it was a Tuesday. We had our show last week at that time as well.
Show on a Tuesday. That's where we were.
Yep.
Noi, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. And we hope that this journey has a positive end for you, just like we hope it does for Deanna.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can, learn a little something from it. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Like, all I did was just post a little video and not thinking anything of it, and now I'm caught up in all this, and I've never had anything like this happen to me before. So also, Deanna, I hope you're doing okay, because I went over some of the comments last night, and they're pretty nasty, and I just hope you're holding in there. That's my advice here is just stop reading them and just don't respond anymore.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm going now, after tonight's show, I think I'm going to have to take a little social media break. So appreciate that, Noi. And I think we'll be back after the break with more Two Brunettes and a Gay. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Two Brunettes and a Gay here. If you are just joining for the first time, you might notice that the tone of this show is a little different to our usual upbeat banter and laughter. We're addressing a little bit more of a serious issue this week. And if you missed it, basically me, Deanna, got wrongly, I guess, targeted on social media because of a video of a girl in Bali last week cleaning up some garbage on the beach and doing a little, I guess, influencer style video about it. And then once the video was finished, walking away and leaving the garbage on the beach, which obviously really infuriated a lot of people who saw the video. And somebody somewhere decided that that girl looked like me. And so then the barrage of comments started. And I guess we really, our intention going into this episode was to, I guess, let everybody know the story, because I've had many messages from people I know and don't know saying, what happened? What was the story? And so it was just easier to put it all down in something like a radio show, because it was too much to share on social media. And also, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I felt like sharing all that much on social media the last couple of days. So it was easier to do it here with the support of my team. And secondly, because we have a platform, we wanted to use it to highlight the bigger issue. Because, as I've said from the beginning, even though it is, affecting me at times and emotionally it's been a bit of a roller coaster, I know that this isn't about me, and I understand that people are mad about an issue. But also, I guess, there are a lot of people who are just jumping on the bandwagon for the fun of it as well. And I think online bullying in any capacity is a bigger issue than I think most of us understand or have ever experienced, especially if you're listening to the show. I know that our demographic tends to be, our age, 30 plus 40, 50, 60, even into their 70s. We don't tend to have a lot of young people watching the show. And so this is relevant to your kids, your grandkids. But I can't say that when I was younger, 20 years ago, I experienced anything like this. And so we all experienced bullying, obviously, and Aaron, I mean, you out of all of us probably experienced the most of it. I can't comprehend. If I was in high school now, I don't know how I'd have the tools to deal with something like this. The resilience you've got to have in this day and age with the online bullying, plus the actual, the actual physical bullying, verbal bullying, you can't escape. You can't hang up the phone when you get home anymore. You can't, just play your games anymore without being connected and facing that. So I my heart goes out. My nephew gets online bullied. Really? And it breaks my heart. How old is your nephew? My nephew's only 10 years old. See, this is what I mean by it's something has to be done. As a fully grown adult, if this is like taking its toll on me, and mine is not like the biggest case of online bullying by far ever. I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, like it's been pretty decent, but I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, it's like, this big, like, can you imagine what a young adult or a teenager or even a child for that matter, how would they process all of this? How do you process all of this? Can't. That's my question.
I don't think you can, and I think that's what leads a lot of teenagers to grow up into adults that suffer from anxiety and depression, fear. They're unsure of, what decisions to make, how to move forward, what they want to do with their life, anything, because there's fear of making the wrong decision and being ridiculed. And being ridiculed for it, exactly. And that's not to say that there isn't cases and there isn't situations where people are making bad decisions, like the girl in this video. She made a very poor decision.
She did.
Let's not discount that. No. We in no way condone that type of behaviour or stand behind anything that she was trying to do there. It's not content. It's not entertainment. It's just you really do need to rethink your life if that's what you consider doing with it and that's what you consider content. But the fact of the matter is that she is a real person and there is a real person behind all of this, and you need to consider that.
And I think what people don't realise that when they put up a comment or, make those accusations, it's up there forever. Mm-hmm. The internet is forever. It's always going to be shared. It's always going to be posted. It's there permanently.
Yeah, because even if you take it down by that stage, how many people have screenshot it, screen recorded it, reshared it? It's out of control.
The news outlets, they shared the video. There's other accounts. There's, it's spreading like wildfire.
And on that note, we asked Noi before the break when we spoke to Noi, who's known as the Social Joker, who initially posted the video, if he had considered taking the video down or thought about taking the video down because of everything that had happened. But the truth is that even if he had decided to take the video down in the days after, he had already been screen recorded and reshared on so many occasions and in so many different places that it wasn't going away.
No.
You might have removed the initial video, but the fact of the matter is that it was still available for everyone and anyone to see.
And I had considered, deactivating my account obviously for longer, because people go, oh, that's the simple answer. So many people go, why don't you just deactivate your account? And I'm like, because when I did that, people started on his account, they started on her account, they started on my business account, they started on Two Brunettes and a Gay's account. So me shutting down my account just diverted the attention. So again, it didn't do anything. And I thought, you know what, let's just keep it in one place and let everybody have their minute, and then let's move on from this.
Absolutely. I'd also like to address the fact that there is a few comments of people saying, I believe that it's not you, but the way that you're now choosing to handle this and promote and self-promote is completely ridiculous. First and foremost, let us be very, very frank. We are not self-promoting. We are talking about a very serious and a very important issue here because we have a platform to do so. And you might thank us for the fact that we are hopefully going to change the minds of even just a few people who might now think twice before heading to social media to spew hate on someone that might be your child, your best friend, your brother, your sister, your parent, anybody that might impact them negatively or impact their mental health. And so if you consider this as shameless self-promotion, you really need to reconsider exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and actually take the time to listen to the whole story, because anybody who says things like that, I'm assuming they just comment on my videos without watching them and seeing what it's all about as well. Well said, Celeste.
Well said.
Like we said earlier on in the show, we are lucky that we have a platform. And it wouldn't be right if we actually didn't use the platform that we had to try and promote a positive message out of everything that's happened here.
No.
That would be the real loss in all of this.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you wanted to give context on a few of the comments, because we can say comments as much as we say comments, right? But I think the biggest thing is that, if you're not on my Instagram, if you haven't headed there already, well, you may as well join. Everybody else has. But I'd highly encourage you to actually do yourself a favour and not bother, because you've probably got better things to do with your life than have a look at the rubbish that's over there at the moment. But just to give context on, I guess, some of the not so nice comments, the depths of how this actually goes, so we kind of understand what we're talking about here. We're not just talking about, oh, you're a piece of trash, although I've heard that plenty of times. It gets a little darker than that. So
yeah, I think, one of them, but the thing is, they also go after, your personal character, your personal appearance.
Yes.
You've got one here that says you have one upper front tooth. Just people, I really don't want to say it out loud, but obviously wishing ill health towards you.
Yes.
I really don't want to say some of these comments, to be honest, because some of them are so dark, and I really don't think it bears repeating. But you've also, Deanna, you've had people in your DMs. Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that's news to me, because you haven't shared it with me. I've only seen the comments that you've been facing. Tell us about these DMs that you've been getting in your social media.
The DMs range from anything to, I believe you have my support, and, you have a new follower now because of the way that you've dealt with it, which those angels have honestly kept me going. I don't know what I would have done without the support in the comments, not only of the people that I know and that I love, but people that I don't know who have taken the liberty to take time out of their day to help me spread that it wasn't me, and in support and telling me to stay strong and being there for me. I've had lots of people asking me, are you the girl on the beach in one way, shape or form. I've had a lot of entitled people saying, we deserve to see proof. Where are your receipts? Because apparently I'm on trial. I didn't realise I was on trial. But like I said earlier, this whole guilty until proven innocent thing that's going on right now. Other people would go, a lot of it is, if you just admit that it was you, this would be a lot easier. It would go away. What a fake apology. Just own up to the truth. And I'm like, again, I can't own up to the truth. I wasn't in Bali last Tuesday. I was here in this studio right now. Yep. And then, of course, down to the you should kill yourself.
This morning we got another one of those.
We just got another one of those as well. And I'm kind of again, just block and delete, right? And I don't take it personally, and I'm not going to, get into a dark frenzy over it. But again, highlighting the fact that I'm an adult and I can have context on it. But as a kid, it scares me.
That is the lowest of low.
It is the lowest
That is the lowest of low. I mean, you can say go clean up the garbage. That's one thing. But to say go kill yourself, we just have to put our foot down. This has to stop.
And this is why I think we want to summarise, what we're talking about right now, we want to use this platform for right now, is that there's two main demographics we've noticed by clicking through to the profiles of these comments before. I tried blocking and deleting some of them, but there was just too many of them. And so before being able to do that, checking on them, a lot of them seem like so-called, fake accounts. They're people with no profile picture, no posts, no followers or anything like that. And so they're obviously secondary accounts or tertiary accounts that people have.
Finsters, is that what they're known as these days?
Is it?
Fake accounts?
I didn't know that. There you go. I learned a new word.
Don't quote me on that. That might just be a celebrity term, but I've heard it referred to as a fake account.
We'll just go with that.
So a lot of those, my partner's giving me context that as a young teenager and as a video gamer, it used to be something that a lot of the boys in the communities, well, not just boys actually in these communities, but the young people in these communities would do for fun, would be all go and troll something together and kind of camaraderie. But then the second account that was the one that worried me the most, and that is the fact that probably the next biggest demographic is mums. And I am
frightening,
appalled to have to say that right now, but it needs to be said. It's mums. You click on their profile and they're proudly stating, I'm a mum of 3 or I'm a mum of 2. And then you've got pictures of the kids on the account and the dogs on the account as well. And I'm sitting there going, I get that you're trying to stand up for a better world for your child, although, as a side note, where are you when it comes to the videos of people skinning animals alive? Because I don't see you on those ones, but that's a different topic, right? But imagine if this was actually your child on the other side of the account, because it's a reality. It's a reality. This is your teenager as well. And I'm not just saying it's those, it's people from all walks of life. There's a lot of people, even professional people in there saying things that you'd think they would have done a bit more research about. But that it's a little bit shocking. And so the whole message of this when it comes to online bullying is that we all play a part in protecting and defending and being kind to each other. There is nothing more than being kind to each other. There is nothing better than being kind to each other. There is no good that can come of something like this. No good whatsoever. I don't see the point.
I guess we just want to put it out there too, that if you do see any of these horrible comments on anyone's social media, not just ours, but anyone's social media, please report it. Make sure it's known. Make sure you take action.
Definitely report it, because I think the best thing that we can do is try and actually silence the voices of the people that feel like putting people down and destroying people and their, their mental and their physical health. Silencing their voices and hopefully teaching them that unless you have something nice to say, don't really say anything at all, is really something that we can all hopefully do and learn.
Absolutely. I think that's enough for us on the message now, and obviously this has been quite a different show, so we're going to lighten the mood after the break. We're going to come back and entertain you all with a little bit of the more funny, light-hearted comments that I've been receiving as well, just for a little bit of a laugh to lift the mood here. We want to say thank you to everyone who has been listening to the show tonight as well, and thank you to everyone who has just been super supportive through this process, because it is without without people like that, this wouldn't have been bearable whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So we'll be back with more Two Brunettes and a Gay after the break.
Now, first of all, before we go on any further, I just want to take this moment, Deanna, just to say how amazing I think you are. We have been watching this situation unfold, and it just reiterated how beautifully kind, compassionate, resilient, and intelligent you are. And honestly, if it was me in the scenario, I don't think I'd be as resilient. And you are very inspirational. So I just want to give you a big
Massive
round of applause.
Thank you. And also, like, I seriously couldn't have done it without these two. You guys have been my rock through all of this. You know, I am usually the one who's pretty good in a crisis, and I can remain pretty level-headed, and I don't crack under pressure easily, but this definitely made me crack.
Yeah, this was a lot.
This was a lot. And, you know, we've been in the media for so much of our careers. You know, if you don't know about us, like, we're professional performers. We've been on stage. We've had bad reviews. We've had good reviews.
We've had no reviews.
We've had no reviews at times. I used to be an animal rights activist, so I constantly used to get trolled. But this was at least being trolled for things that I had a stance on, that I had an opinion on, and that was in my control, so to speak.
Yeah.
But one of the things that one of the things that has come to, I guess, our attention is the funnier comments in all of this as well. And we wanted to take the time to read some of those out in a moment.
Because ultimately, like, you know, I'm a big believer. I think replying to the trolls just, you know, makes them feed more, makes them attack more. And I'm a big believer in the old saying, don't try and teach a pig to sing. It just angers you and frustrates the pig. So, but ultimately, tonight, we're going to frustrate the pig.
Okay, so reading trash comments.
Reading trashy
Reading
comments.
and reacting to trashy comments.
Because this whole situation's been garbage.
I got a good one.
Okay, you ready?
Right. Get your plastic surgery looking ass on.
I haven't even seen
Plastic
that one
surgery
before.
looking ass on. You've got the most pert butt ever.
Thanks.
Hello.
Oof, at least got something going
I got
on.
another one.
You've got a real
Right,
ass. Real booty.
You want to go next?
You look beached as, bro.
Oh, thanks, bruh. The trash isn't on the beach anymore. It's in an obnoxious blue dress, smiling for social media.
Darling, that obnoxious blue dress is designer. Thank you very much.
You can't take the trash out of the woman, but the woman can leave the trash.
That was so clever. Sweetheart, you forgot your bag of trash on the beach. You also forgot to climb in one yourself. You might want to go back and fix that. But then what would I do with the bag after I climbed inside
You
of
can
it?
make it a beautiful dress. Alaska on RuPaul's Drag Race made trash into treasure, so you could
okay.
do it too.
All right,
Yeah.
okay, yep.
Yep.
You should be wearing what suits you better, like a trash bag.
We need some trash couture.
Lady, you're seriously too old to want attention. That bad and pretend to pick up trash for clout. Hopefully you can make amends and actually clean up your mess and do more, not just for clout. You can make better choices.
Do you even know what clout means? You're on the, other side of 35. Do you know what clout means?
I don't know. Well, I mean, just for... No. Like, what is it? Is that like a younger people's thing?
Clout's is like
You're chasing clout means like you're looking for attention.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're
All
looking
right.
to, be noticed for what you're doing. You're clout chasing. So, that proves a lot about Deanna. She doesn't even know what clout means. So there you go. And the fact that someone just called you lady, I mean, that's fantastic. Listen, lady.
And I guess my last one is you're basically a garbage person.
Oh, well, you are trash, but
Thank you.
But you're not a garbage person. But I guess, look, these were some light-hearted comments, but ultimately we don't want to take away from the seriousness of this whole experience in the episode and all the comments and the messages you have been facing.
Thank you. Yeah, and I definitely want to. I want to thank everybody once again, who has offered support during this process. So many of you have been there in the comments saying, guys, she's commented, like she's apologised for, well, not apologised for this because I didn't apologise for it, but she's clarified is the word I'm looking for, this multiple times. Please watch her videos. Like, you can see her statement. You can clearly see it's not her. She looks different to the woman in the video. And some of you, like I said, I don't even know. And so taking the time to actually do that, it means the world to me. You needed those comments in between everything else to keep it going. So I think we want to finish this episode, wrap it up with some final thoughts and bring it home. Celeste, your final thoughts?
I think we share a collective final thought this week, which is, bullying in any form is not okay. So definitely stand by that. But if I'm to leave you with a light-hearted Tuesday takeaway or a light-hearted final thought, I don't have one. Have a lovely week.
You're out of them.
I'm fresh out of final thoughts. Thank you so much.
Fresh out of thoughts
All
in
right.
general. Fresh out of
I know,
thoughts.
our brains are all fried after this. Aaron?
Look, ultimately, I just want to say to anyone out there who's being bullied or cyberbullied, please tell someone. Please report it. I can't stress that enough. To deal with all of that in silence and internalize it all, and to deal with the trauma of being on the receiving end of all of that, I completely understand it. I've been there. I've been badly bullied myself in high school. I wouldn't wish upon anyone.
Okay, I got two then. I'll make up for Celeste, maybe.
Go for it.
First one definitely is kind of, I guess, I don't know, this is where the activist in me comes out to play, right?
Go, girl.
And it's, if you are really that passionate about this issue of rubbish on the beach, and I feel like I have to call it rubbish because we're Australian, the trash thing is doing my head in, right?
That's a good point.
It's rubbish. Yep. It's rubbish on the beach.
It's a rubbish bin, not a trash can.
So if you're really that passionate, then go and do something about it. Like, cognitive dissonance is getting worse. And if you don't know what cognitive dissonance means, it means the connection between someone's thoughts and someone's actions. Right? So if you're thinking that this is helping a situation that you care about, then you actually physically need to get out from behind the computer or out from behind the phone, and you need to do something about it yourself.
Yep.
You need to go and join an organisation like Sea Shepherd, right? Or plenty of other beach clean organisations that they are, or whatever it is that you're passionate about, and go and make a difference. I did that for many years, up until last year when I decided to take a little bit of a break. And it's very fulfilling. It can be very exhausting depending on what level you take it to as well, but you see how much it actually makes a difference. So my first thing is, this is not the way to fix the world's problems if that is genuinely what you were here for or have ever been on someone's social media account for. If you want to fix the world's problems, go out there into the world and help fix them.
Do it in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second thing is that I just wanted to finish with a final thought of the fact that even though we've focused a lot on the bad side of what's happened today, humanity does prevail. And I mentioned this, but the angels in the comments and the people that you know and that you don't know that are there to stick up for you as well, just give you hope. And thank you for being a good person, and just let's all be kind to each other. Let's just have this reminder to realise that if there's so much misdirected anger, humanity is hurting. We've all been through a tough couple of years. And so there's nothing more than being kind to ourselves and being kind to each other. That's just my hope out of all of this.
Impeccably put.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you are listening on the podcast, thank you so much for joining us.
If you're listening live, I usually say this
is normally Deanna's line.
If you're listening live and you want to listen to us on the podcast, head to Brunettes A Gay, available on all your major podcasting platforms. And if you're listening on the podcast and you want to listen live next week, download the Radio Italia Uno Adelaide app, and you can catch us there at 5 p.m. every Tuesday. Follow us on socials, Brunettes A Gay, Facebook, Instagram. And yeah, that's about it from us.
Now go out there, preach kindness, and we'll see you
next Tuesday.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.